What's up guys, my name is Alex and welcome to my second video of me reviewing my Erasmus semester at the University of Cologne. My previous video was all about October, so this one is going to look specifically at November, and it's going to follow the same format, so I'm just going to go over all the events and all the highlights that happened in this month and then round it off with some helpful tips and advice for you guys who are perhaps thinking of doing a year abroad or a semester abroad yourselves. So let's get right into it. So the first major thing to happen throughout November was I settled into the uni. This meant that I'd finished choosing all my courses. I started the semester with about 8 and then I finally narrowed that down to about 5, which I really liked and wanted to take throughout the semester. These were a mix of German courses and business courses, and for the most part I really enjoyed all of them. There were a few which were a bit too hard, especially because they were in German and not English, but I managed to understand pretty much everything that they were telling me and what they were teaching us, so it was good in that aspect. And they're all modules that I can't really take at my home uni, so I really enjoyed the opportunity to do brand new courses which I'd never seen or experienced before, and do them in a completely different language. And of course, now that I had settled into the uni, I managed to get into a really good study routine. My routine in October was all over the place because I was going out so much and then would have to get up crazy early to do some administration nonsense. But in November my lifestyle became a bit more normal, a bit more like how it is back in England when I'm at Warwick, and it was a lot nicer to just have a good routine going and get into a good flow of socialising and work rather than just having your life scattered all over the place. Then the second major thing to happen in November was Carnival. Now this is a huge crazy celebration where everyone dresses up in a different outfit or costume and just descends onto the street for the whole day and just drinks beer or drinks whatever alcohol they can get for like 24 hours straight. It is madness. The city just goes crazy. It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. I guess it's sort of similar to the Notting Hill Carnival back in England, but still Carnival is something really unique. It happens every year on the 11th day of November, so for us this was a Friday. We just ignored all of our lectures or anything that we had on that day and just took part in what was an awesome celebration. If any of you haven't been to the Cologne Carnival in your lifetime, then I strongly recommend you do it because it is insane. You can look up loads of videos on YouTube or get loads of information on the internet about it, and you'll realise just how awesome it looks, and it will definitely make you want to go, so I can't recommend it enough. Now on to the third big thing that happened in November, which was the Amsterdam trip. So as I said, I'd already established a good group of friends in this month and we all thought, screw it, let's just go to Amsterdam for a weekend. So that's what we did. Luckily, one of our friends, Koen, he's Dutch and he lived in Amsterdam for quite a big proportion of his life. So he knew the city inside out, he knew exactly where to go, and he was basically our tour guide for the whole weekend, which was perfect. Because if you've been to Amsterdam before, you know how symmetrical the city is and how easy it is to just get lost and have no idea where you're going. So it saved us a lot of time and a lot of stress having someone that had lived in Amsterdam before to kind of show us around, take us to all the best spots and see all the crazy things that Amsterdam has to offer. The highlight of this trip for me was definitely the Banksy exhibition. Banksy is kind of like a London-based graffiti artist. He's very popular in England and I think he is globally as well. And they had their own exhibition for him. It was great to see some Banksy originals, and me and my friends really enjoyed it. I don't think it's available anymore. I think it was only open for a limited amount of time, but if it is still open or if they do something like that again, then I definitely recommend going, especially if you're into art and if you know all about Banksy's works, then it's perfect. And lastly, the fourth big thing to happen in November for me was finding an internship. So for my year abroad, I'm doing half study, half work. I've done all my studying, I've done my Erasmus semester, and I'm now working at a marketing agency, also here in Cologne, and finding a placement was really stressful. I'm going to do a separate video on tips and tricks for finding an internship abroad because it was really difficult and I hated having to go through all the application processes, especially in a foreign language, so stay tuned for a video on that. But yeah, I got really lucky. I actually managed to find this through a contact. I went to like a careers kind of seminar workshop that was run by the university. It was in English and it was about like interview skills. Now while I thought I was already okay at interviews and I thought it would be a bit of a waste of time going, like something like an instinct inside of me just said no, just go, like you never know what will come of it. So I went and it was obviously really useful, like I learned a lot. But at the end of it, I just mentioned when we were like doing pictures of ourselves that I was looking for an internship in a marketing kind of role here in Cologne, and God must have been looking down on me at this moment, because the person that was actually leading the workshop knew the CEO of this marketing agency which I'm working at now, and said, oh, I'll put you in touch, they take a lot of interns, they'd be happy to have someone that can speak English fluently. And yeah, I sent her my CV, she forwarded it on. I had a couple of kind of interviews and conversations with the manager there, and then he eventually was like, yeah, we'd love to have you, when do you want to start, when do you want to finish? And that was perfect. It was like all this stress and weight lifted off my shoulders. I finally found a place to work. But as I said, I will go over this more in a separate video and accompany it with some tips and tricks which helped me find this placement. So now on to the advice section of this video for the second month of any year abroad or semester abroad. And my first big tip is to stick with your friends that you made in Freshers. Now, well, obviously it is really important to keep meeting new people, and you definitely shouldn't shy away from that. If you manage to find good friends in Freshers, then start doing stuff with them, start organising stuff with them, focus on creating now a good solid group of friends, etc., and not constantly worrying about meeting as many people as possible every single day. Like, you don't need to do that anymore. If you found a good group of friends that you like and that you connect with and that you share the same interests with, then start hanging out with each other and actually doing things outside of the already organised events by like ESN or the uni. I know quite a few people that spent their entire Erasmus just constantly devoted to meeting more people and new people constantly, and they ended up with not really having a good group of friends by the end of it. Like, yeah, I guess they were popular, but they didn't have a close, tight-knit group of friends, which is what you really want in Erasmus. I don't really recommend trying to be as popular as possible, because you just don't end up having a good time. My then second bit of advice for this month is to make the most of the fact that you're at the beginning of your semester still. You won't really have any exams or assignments coming up or in the near future, so use this free time as effectively as possible. Like, start organising trips, start going travelling with your friends that you've made, start doing more things which you know that in a couple of months' time you won't have the time to do because of exams, etc., and just make the most of the fact that you've got quite a bit of free time at the beginning. Like, as I said, we went to Amsterdam, we did Carnival, and we did a lot more kind of day trips and things together, because we knew that in a couple of months' time we're not really going to have the time to do it. Everyone was going to start having exams come January and February, so make the most of the time that you've got at the beginning, use it to have fun, and quite simply, don't waste it. So this concludes my second video on my Erasmus semester at the University of Cologne. I hope you got a good insight into what I did in November and all the stuff that I got up to, and I also hope that you found my advice and tips at the end useful. Stay tuned for my next video, where I'm obviously going to discuss December, and as always, please remember to subscribe, like and comment. If you know some friends that would really find these kind of videos useful, then please share it with them. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!